Drive.
23 to 5, you listen to 3AW Drive for Xero. Start your free trial at xero.com.au. That's Xero with an X. Breaking news, that's not good. We are hearing that La Trobe University is about to cut 350 jobs. Joining me now to discuss this and another issue from the Liberal Party, Kelly O'Dwyer, the member for Higgins. Good afternoon, Kelly.
Good afternoon, Tom and your listeners.
And one of the busiest men in federal politics, the Shadow Minister for Immigration and member for Corio, Richard Marles of the Labor Party. Good afternoon, Richard.
Good afternoon, Tom. Kelly.
Now, jobs. Qantas is sacking 5,000 people. Alcoa is sacking people. Toyota is shutting down. La Trobe University is taking academics out the back and shooting them. Kelly O'Dwyer, do we have a jobs crisis?
Well, look, it's always very sad, Tom, when somebody loses their job, but when people are highly skilled, there are other jobs that they can go on and perform in. It's not the government's job to be able to guarantee people specific jobs for any period of time. It's our job to make sure that we get the economic fundamentals right, to make sure we lower taxes, to make sure that we get rid of regulation and red tape that's actually clogging up business being able to invest and employ people. We believe that that's what we have to focus on as a government. And one of the things, for instance, when it comes to Qantas that we're really keen to do is to make sure we get rid of the carbon tax, which cost them over $106 million this year, and it's going to cost them $168 million next year, which is more than the loss that they announced only this week.
Now, Richard, you presumably, I'm guessing you're concerned about Qantas's loss of jobs.
For sure.
Yeah. So why not cut the carbon tax?
Well, firstly, Qantas are not for a second suggesting that the carbon tax is going to be the jobs plan which works for them. And I might say not Alcoa, not Holden, not SBC, none of them have raised the carbon tax as being an issue in terms of the decisions they've made. So when you talk about what is the plan of the government, and look, I agree with Kelly, it's not the job of government to guarantee every specific job, but I think there is a role for government in going out there and fighting for jobs and having a plan. And right now, we don't see that. Certainly getting rid of the carbon tax is not the plan. And I think, you know, what says everything to me about the concern that this government shows for jobs and the people who have lost them is that yesterday you spent the day in Geelong, Tom, along with the rest of 3AW. We're yet to see the Prime Minister come to Geelong and tell the Geelong community what is his plan to deal with the decision that Alcoa has made.
What's Tony Abbott doing?
Richard, that's not true to say that the Prime Minister hasn't been in Geelong. He's been in Geelong many, many times.
Yeah, but since the decision.
No. He's been there many, many times. He's been there with the local federal member, Sarah Henderson from Corangamite, who's doing a fantastic job. He's been down there talking about the money that's been secured for the Great Ocean Road. So it's absolutely not true to say that the Prime Minister hasn't been down there at all.
But since the Alcoa decision, that's the point.
Well, no, but you've just said, just before, you said it's not the government's role to guarantee jobs. And you're being very cute saying, oh, well, we've got to fight for jobs. Well, we believe that's right. We have to fight for jobs. And the way we fight for jobs is being able to make sure our economy is strong and that business has the confidence to invest and grow.
Agree with that.
And that we don't put in place difficult, workplace relations laws that makes it more difficult for them to get on and employ people, which is, what your government did when they were in government.
Just before you respond, Richard, I did have a couple of female listeners at our broadcast yesterday who concluded that they thought you were a very good-looking man. And they wanted me to pass that on.
Thank you, Tom.
He's
I'm not really sure.
He's just gone bright red. For all of those people who can't see him, he's gone bright red in the studio.
All right. So now, just quickly before we go to some calls, 96900 693 13 13 32. Look, it seems to me with Qantas, this is just the way I see it, is that either we allow big foreign airlines to come in and buy a bigger stake in Qantas, so the Qantas becomes the junior partner of a Singapore, an Etihad, an Emirates or something like that, or possibly the government renationalises the airline. What would you do, Richard?
Well, the first thing we want to do is see what plan the government actually has for Qantas.
Yeah, but what would you do?
Well, I think what we've got, the government is the one in power now. We've got to actually see what plan they come up with. If they want to have a conversation about a Qantas Sale Act, happy to do that. Not happy to see Qantas be removed from Australian ownership. So I think it is fundamental that Qantas remain Australian owned. But if there is a conversation,
that's what Clive Palmer says.
If there is a conversation that the government want to have about the detail of the Sale Act, happy to have it.
That
if
is the Qantas Sale Act, though. That is.
No,
you're effectively ruling it out. You're saying on the one hand you're prepared to have a conversation, and yet The key element of the Qantas Sale Act is the 49% ownership restriction.
An element of it. There are more elements to it than that, and they've obviously been in the public domain today. You want to talk about a bank guarantee? We're happy to have a conversation about that, but it's for the government to come up with a plan.
Let's go to some calls. Jeff, good afternoon.
G'day, Tom. How you going?
Good, thanks, Jeff.
I think the disappointing thing here is I listen to your two guests squabble amongst themselves, but at the end of the day, I don't think either one of them and either party have got any idea what they're doing. They've brought in all these free trade agreements. Now, at the end of the day, you can change the IR laws as much as you like. We can't compete with wage rates in China that are $600 a month or Indonesia with their $263 a month. And, Richard, it was your mob that got rid of tariffs in the car industry to start off with. I'd actually like to see a government that does what it's supposed to do, and that's protect Australian jobs. And unfortunately, both sides of politics have got absolutely no desire to do that.
All right, thank you, Jeff. I must say, a lot of people have rung me up and sent me emails saying that they reckon free trade agreements have been the undoing of Australia. We'll comment on that in a moment. 96900 693 13 13 32. It's 18 after 5.
Neil Mitchell's Fix It campaign. Some are easy, like Chris and her gym membership.
Well, what's happened since we spoke?
On Wednesday, after I was on air, I got a call from the head office saying that they would process the refund immediately.
Some take a bit more work.
This damn stupid boat down in the Yarra that caught fire, sank and sat there for month after month after month. Michael, is it gone?
All gone.
Well done.
Fix it at 3aw.com.au. Neil Mitchell, 3AW 693.
Ian again. Top prices, save cost and no stress. How? It's explained in Fatal Real Estate Traps Exposed. For your free copy, call 9430 0000 or download at vendoradvocacy.com.au.
Ian Reid's Vendor Advocacy Australia. A better way to sell your home. Mercedes-Benz Melbourne introduces a new level of luxury and convenience. Heli Express. Travel between South Wharf and Melbourne Airport by helicopter in approximately 4 minutes flying time. Purchase and take delivery of a passenger car or van this month to receive 4 complimentary transfers on Heli Express and entry into the draw to win 2 tickets to the Mercedes-Benz Star Lounge at the 2014 Formula One Australian Grand Prix. The sky's no limit at Mercedes-Benz Melbourne. Terms and conditions apply. mbmelbourne.com.au, LMC CT 6776.
An Aussie holiday becomes a great Aussie holiday with a Page Brothers Jayco. Whatever your lifestyle or budget, Page Brothers has a caravan for you. From camper trailers to the very latest in Jayco motorhomes. Because we're the biggest dealer in the state, at Page Brothers, you'll get more choice than anywhere else. For new Jaycos, used vans, finance, insurance, service and repairs, see Page Brothers RV. Only 30 minutes from Melbourne on Eastlink off Seaford Road.
Don't miss out on this great rate discount. At Bank of Melbourne, you can get a 0.9% per annum rate discount on the standard variable rate for the life of your loan. Just take out a new standard variable home loan or portfolio loan of $500,000 or more under Advantage Package. This is a limited offer and must end soon. So drop into your local branch, call 13 22 66 or visit bankofmelbourne.com.au today.
Lending criteria, conditions, fees and charges including annual package fee apply.
I'm in business.
I'm in business.
I entertain my clients at live sports events.
I entertain my clients at live sports events at Etihad Stadium with the added excitement and exhilaration of access to concerts, fine dining and exclusive member benefits including golf and racing. That's why his clients are now my clients.
Etihad Stadium. Brilliant for business. Visit etihadstadium.com.au for more details.
Hi, Bruce Mansfield. Join me in September for the USA, Canada and Alaska cruise. We'll cruise the Inside Passage and experience Alaska's spectacular wilderness from the luxury of the Celebrity Solstice. See glaciers, beautiful fjords and unique wildlife. We'll visit Seattle, Ketchikan, Junee, Victoria, Vancouver and many more wonderful destinations. Then extend to Banff and the Canadian Rockies. Everything's included in the price. Hurry, call Travel Right International now for your brochure on 1-800-630-343. 1-800-630-343.
On 9 News, fury in Morwell South with vulnerable residents urged to get out. A boy survives a truck smash that claimed 3 lives. A man acquitted of shooting dead his de facto, and Snorkel Man makes a splash. 9 News at 6.
Drive with Tom Elliott.
For Xero accounting software, try it free at xero.com/try.
It is 14 to 5. Sorry, I got the time wrong before. Kelly O'Dwyer from the Liberal Party, Richard Miles from the Labor Party. We're having a debate about jobs and about Qantas, and we're taking your calls. Peter, good afternoon. Peter's gone. Bill, hello.
Yeah, this paid parental leave, I was ringing up about that. I think that it should be a fixed price and it should be means tested. And I think it's reverse taxation, where the rich get more rather than less.
Yes, I must admit, Bill, I tend to agree with you. I've seen all the sophisticated arguments about that paid parental leave is not welfare. It's a workplace right. But Kelly O'Dwyer, it's paid for if it ever gets through. It's paid for by the taxpayer. Correct.
Well, it's effectively paid for by business who are not going to receive the 1.5% discount on the company tax rate.
It's 3,000.
It's 3,200 businesses that will ultimately pay for it. And the idea behind it is to make sure that women get 26 weeks of leave. And as the Prime Minister has said, he believes that this is a workplace entitlement, and he also believes that this is going to give women the incentive that they need to stay in the workplace. And we certainly know that we need to increase workplace participation from women in the workplace, and that can add a huge amount to our economy, in growing our economy.
Do you honestly think, though, I mean, take a woman, professional woman like yourself, earning, I don't know what you earn, but let's just pick someone who's at the top level, 150 grand. You know, is that a bit of welfare, whether you describe it as being paid for by the taxpayer or corporations or whatever, is that going to be the deciding point that makes them have a child or not? And in any case, why should the state care?
Well, it's certainly, for most people not going to be the consideration as to whether or not they have a child or not. People have children because they want to have children.
Richard's got 8 of them.
He doesn't
4 of them.
4, you can have it. He's got a few, but people have them because they love kids and they actually want to be able to have a family. But the truth is, I think when we talk about it as a workplace entitlement, we have to also understand that the reason it's considered in that way is because we know that people get paid sick leave. The question can be asked, well, why should people be paid sick leave if they don't turn up to work as well? We think that it's good for society, it's good for individuals, and it's ultimately good for the economy.
Richard, let's just say paid parental leave had been around when you and your wife were having children. Would you have 8 of them by now?
No, I can absolutely guarantee the answer to that question. We wouldn't have. 4 has got me completely
one is
exhausted.
Good and 2 is better and 3.
But can I just... Bill is absolutely right. This is reverse taxation and the whole thing is misconceived. Listen, there's no problem with paid parental leave being a workplace entitlement. That's a great thing. And in comparing it to sick leave, fine. But the thing is, they're paid for by the workplace. What we're talking about here is something that is proposed to be paid for by taxpayers' money. Now, what normally comes from taxpayers' money is a safety net. If you look at New Start, if you look at a range of benefits that you get from government, it's a safety net. But what we're talking about here is, as you say, Tom, paying people who earn $150,000 more money by virtue of them earning that. And that's why this should be kept in the workplace.
Jeremy, good afternoon.
Hi, Tom. Just a very quick point in relation to workplace entitlement. We can't have separate standards for, let's call it, the unionised workforce, and we all know that they're not competitive because we're dealing with cost pressures. Well, we've also got to look at the same standard and say which other countries in the world offer these kind of workplace entitlements, and if they don't, this is a measure that makes us unproductive. We keep talking about productivity improvements. Well, this is a reverse, retrograde step.
All right, thank you very much, Jeremy. I mean, again, it ultimately adds to costs, and costs are the big issue these days. Sue, good afternoon.
Oh, hi, Tom. A couple of things, just in response to the previous caller there. We are the lucky country. We all work terribly hard. And, if we want to reduce this country to what we see in America and many other countries, and that is the working poor living on coupons, then we should travel down the road we're going. But with regards to Qantas, now I've just spent the last 10 minutes on the internet looking at all the prices. There is an $80 total difference between Qantas's London to Melbourne return, or Melbourne to London return, compared to Emirates and Singapore Airlines. So I did the clever thing of saying, right, okay, let's do a cost comparison here. I can actually get that price down very substantially, down to about $1,500, $1,700, but it would take me 44 hours hours circumnavigating the globe to get to London from Melbourne. Okay? So that's the point that we need to make.
Yeah.
The other thing that I would like to make, and I'm a fairly seasoned traveller, okay, let's not forget that our pilots that pilot Qantas are the highest trained individuals. Let's not forget the near disaster they had with the 380 coming out of Singapore.
Thank you, Sue. We did hear about that before. Look, we have run out of time. It's been a fascinating debate as always. Kelly O'Dwyer, Richard Miles, good to talk with you both.
Thanks, Tom.
you.
Thanks, Richard.
See you again in 2 weeks' time. It's 9 to 5.
Hello, Peter Mitchell. Tonight, residents at risk at Mall.